Welcome back, everyone, to another reaction video. Today we're going to dive back into some more trivia on the channel Quizzes for You. Quizzes for You. Today we're going to take a look at how well do you know the UK. I am well known for my affinity for the United Kingdom. I've been there 5 times now, going back again in September. So I thought it'd be fun to dive into this one. I'll put the link down in the description so you can check this out without my commentary and see all their other trivia. This will also be added to the playlist with all of the trivia things that we've done. And typically how I do this is I'll let the question show, and right before it's going to give the answer, I'll pause and I'll give my answer. That way it gives you a little time to think about the answer too. But then if it's a topic I know something about, we'll talk a little more about it. So it's kind of a unique, fun way to talk more about history and places associated with history, as I'm sure a lot of these questions will be. Also, I want to let you guys know that this Monday, and I'll be posting the time as soon as I know what it is, going to be doing some live streaming of Risk. We're going to be playing Risk. It's going to be me, Mr. Terry, Drew Durnall, the Fat Electrician, and Mr. Beat. The 5 of us are going to be playing Risk together. Should be a whole lot of fun. One of my favorite games to play. I want to thank my friend Mr. Terry for organizing that. So more details as soon as I know what time that'll be. Probably sometime Monday evening here in the US. All right, let's go ahead and dive into this one.
This quiz is for everyone, people from the UK and everybody else. Just for fun, put your score and your country in the comments down below.
Okay, so I just want to say up front, I'm going to be really disappointed if I miss any of these. I kind of pride myself on my knowledge of the UK and history, but I'm sure there's going to be some obscure thing I'm going to miss.
It's the 700-year-old ceremony called that's held every night at the Tower of London. Ceremony of the Ravens, Ceremony of the Keys, or Ceremony of the Crown Jewels.
Okay, so it's Ceremony of the Keys. I will say, though, it's important to know that ravens are really heavily associated with the Tower of London, and the crown jewels are kept at the Tower of London. You can see them when you go there. It's pretty cool.
Which seaside town is home to the world's longest pleasure pier? Southend-on-Sea, Blackpool, or Cromer?
So I have no idea where Cromer is. Blackpool's up in the north of England, though, and I don't think that's it. I'm going to go with Southend-on-Sea. It's 1.33 miles long. It has a railway line to save visitors a long walk. That's epic. I had no idea.
Which of these is part of the UK but not part of Great Britain? Scotland, Wales, or Northern Ireland?
Okay, so this can all get super confusing to non-British people because there's the UK, there's Great Britain, and then you have Ireland and Northern Ireland and all this stuff. So Great Britain is everything on this island right here. The British Isles would be both islands, which you don't see the rest of Ireland there. Ireland would be this whole island, but then Ireland is the Republic of Ireland, which is the southern 2/3 or so, and then you have Northern Ireland, which is part of the United Kingdom. Scotland's up here, Wales is over here, England's right here. So Northern Ireland is the part that is part of the UK, but not part of Great Britain, which is this island.
What actually is Big Ben? The clock tower, the clock face, or the Great Bell?
Okay, so the tower is called Elizabeth Tower. Big Ben's the bell, I think. I don't think it's the clock. I think it's the bell. $15 tons. It's crazy.
What's the longest river in the UK? The Severn, the Thames, or the Clyde?
Alright, this one's tricky because I'm torn between two. So the Clyde is all the way in the north that runs through Glasgow. Severn's like in the center of the country. And the Thames, of course, is the one that runs through London and runs through the kind of the southern part of England. I think it might be the Severn, but I'm going to go with Thames. It is the Severn. I should have gone with my first. My
Where
gut.
was William Shakespeare born? London, Rochester, or Stratford-upon-Avon?
He was born on his birthday. I mean, he died on his birthday. So it's Stratford-upon-Avon, and it's kind of in the area right around Oxford. It's west of London.
Which game, invented in England, was once described as a game played by men with odd-shaped balls? Cricket, football, or rugby?
I believe it's named after the town where it was invented, which is Rugby. It's in the West Midlands, I think.
Which Scottish figure was depicted by Mel Gibson in the film Braveheart? William Wallace, Robert the Bruce, or William Adam?
Not actual film footage, for illustration only. So this irritates the heck out of Scottish people because the answer is William Wallace, but Braveheart was actually Robert the Bruce, not William Wallace. Though William Wallace has this huge monument there, not far from Stirling Castle, but Robert the Bruce was the guy who wins the independence from England.
If you ordered neeps and tatties on a Scottish menu, what would you get? Parsnips and meat patties, mashed turnips and potatoes, or haggis in whiskey?
Those are all very English sounding choices. I think that looks like Edinburgh in that. Yeah, that's Edinburgh because you can actually see the seating set up for the military tattoo right there, and then this is Edinburgh Castle. Great city. Oh, what a wonderful city. I can't wait to go back there someday. I was in Scotland a few weeks ago, but we didn't go to Edinburgh. We were up in Inverness. It's mashed turnips and potatoes. Haggis. Ugh.
Richard Burton, Sir Anthony Hopkins, and Catherine Zeta-Jones were all born in which country? Wales, Scotland, or Northern Ireland?
Hey, shout out to Catherine Zeta-Jones. I know her son Dylan's a fan of the channel. How you doing, Dylan? This is Wales. Anthony Hopkins. I didn't know that Richard Burton was, but I knew Anthony Hopkins and Catherine Zeta-Jones are both born in Wales.
What is a Munro?
Oh, yes.
A mountain in Scotland, a pie in England, or a dragon in Wales?
A pie in England. That's awesome. So it's a mountain in Scotland. In fact, the tallest mountain, is in Scotland. It's called Ben Nevis, and it's down in the area around Fort William. But I believe specifically a Munro is any mountain over 3,000 feet in Scotland. Yep. 282 Munros, and Munro bagging is the pursuit of climbing them. So that doesn't sound particularly tall, and you have to remember too that the Highlands in Scotland are actually a part of the same mountain range that is the Appalachian mountain range in the eastern United States. When everything was squished together and you had Pangea, it was all one continuous mountain range. It's made of the exact same stuff, and it's about the same height.
What is the tallest building in the UK?
I've been on top of it.
Bishopsgate, the Shard, or 1 Canada Square?
I think they showed it in the beginning of the video. There, it's the Shard. In fact, let's go back. Well, he'll probably show it again here in a second.
How often does it rain?
Oh, they didn't show it. All right, let's go back in the beginning of this video. Oh, they don't. Yeah, okay.
22 Bishopsgate, the Shard, or...
It's actually the tallest. I think it's the tallest building in Western Europe.
How often does it rain in the UK? All the blimmin' time, every other day on average, or never? It's like a desert.
So here's the irony. Everybody talks about the rain in the UK, but I looked it up, and we get twice as much rain in Northeast Ohio as they get in the UK, which is, the difference is that when it rains here in Northeast Ohio where I live, it rains hard. It just doesn't rain as often. Whereas in the UK, it rains more often, but it's really light rain much of the time. So less volume of rain falls there. I'm going to say every other day on average, but I still feel like that's high. But yeah, but when it rains, it doesn't often rain hard.
What is the name of the Queen's Scottish estate? Balmoral Castle, Windsor Castle, or Sandringham House?
This must have been made when the Queen was still living. So Sandringham is down in England, and I think that's where, I want to say that's where King George V died. Maybe even George VI. I don't remember for sure. I know George V died there with a little help from his doctor. Balmoral's in Scotland. That's the one they're talking about. Queen Elizabeth II, her mother was Scottish. Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon was her name originally. Windsor Castle is kind of the main residence of the royal family. That's down in Windsor, which is just west of London. It's right near Heathrow Airport.
Older than the pyramids of Giza, who built Stonehenge? Aliens? The Romans? Or we don't know?
Aliens or the Romans? We don't know. We have a little bit of an idea about some of those people, and there's some amazing standing stones that we visited in Orkney in northern Scotland that are much bigger than the ones at Stonehenge.
Located on the north coast of Northern Ireland, what is this World Heritage Site called? The Ogre's Pathway, the Giant's Causeway, or the Fairies Track?
I actually don't know this one, but I'm going to go with Ogre's Pathway. The Giant's Causeway. Yep, missed
Which
that one.
Which city hosts the Festival Fringe, the world's largest arts festival? Edinburgh, Glasgow, or Leeds?
I'm going to make an educated guess on this one. So Leeds is in northern England, I think northeast England. It's in Yorkshire. Of course, Edinburgh is the capital of Scotland. It's on the east coast. Glasgow is the largest city in Scotland, and Glasgow is very much known for its arts. They have a lot of murals that are painted on walls that are fantastic. I'm going to go with Glasgow just because of Glasgow's association with art. It's Edinburgh.
Where was the Titanic built? Glasgow, Portsmouth, or Belfast?
So all three of these cities are associated with shipbuilding. A lot of steel was built in Glasgow for a lot of the ships. In fact, so that's where my family was. They started in Tipton, which is in the Black Country of England. It's the West Midlands. Part of the West Midlands, and then they went up to Glasgow to work in the steel mills there before coming to America and working in Ohio in the steel mills. Portsmouth's on the south side of south end of England. That's south of London, and that's a big port to this day. That's where a lot of cruises start. But Titanic was definitely built in Belfast in Northern Ireland.
Which of these is not a world record held by Queen Elizabeth II? Featured on the most currencies, longest reigning queen, or the largest collection of corgis?
I'm going to go with largest collection of corgis. She's really heavily associated with those corgis, but I know she's not the longest reigning monarch. I think that's probably Louis XIV of France. But longest reigning queen, yeah, probably, because she passed her own great-great-grandmother, Victoria. Yeah, I'll go with that. Corgis.
In Cockney rhyming slang, what are apples and pears? Chairs, stairs, or hairs?
Cockney rhyming slang. So Cockney is that really heavy accent that you hear from people like... what's his name? Don Cheadle tries to do a Cockney accent in Ocean's 11, but it's heavily associated with... Oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank right now. All I could think of, he was Alfred in the Dark Knight movies, and I couldn't remember what his name was, but it's Michael Caine. He's the guy that's got a very distinct Cockney accent. That's in an area of London. But apples and pears. It's got to be hares. I have no idea what this is. Stairs. The Cockney rhyming slang is a form of English slang from the East End of London. Many of the sayings have been shortened and become part of our everyday language. For example, the slang for money is bread from bread and honey. Okay. That one confused me a little bit.
From 1066 to 1362, what was the official language of England? French, Old Saxon, or Latin?
So specifically, it was the language of the court. Was French. And, you know, the royal family at that point, when William the Conqueror comes from Normandy, they're French in culture and in language. And it's, I think, the only change that finally happened. So 1362, we're talking about Edward III is king at that time. And I think the language of the court officially changes under Henry IV a little bit later on. But yeah, it's French.
During the Napoleonic Wars, what did the people of Hartlepool think was a French spy and so hanged it? A scarecrow, a monkey, or a statue?
I didn't remember that it was Hartlepool that this happened in, but I'm pretty sure it was a monkey that they thought was a French spy. Legend says, following a shipwreck off the Hartlepool coast, the only survivor was a monkey. Having never seen a monkey or a Frenchman, the good people of Hartlepool believed it to be a French spy and they hanged it. That's awesome. Well, not awesome for the monkey.
4 lion statues surround which famous London landmark? St Paul's Cathedral, Tower Bridge, or Nelson's Column?
So you can kind of see a little bit of the display there that is portraying some of the fight, you know, the guys from the Napoleonic Wars. Tower Bridge is, of course, the very iconic looking tower that's right next to the Tower of London that a lot of people mistake for being the London Bridge. St. Paul's Cathedral is, of course, where the Duke of Wellington is and Lord Nelson are both interred. It's Nelson's Column.
What is Welsh rarebit? Cheese on toast, an illness, or a game?
First of all, can we just acknowledge that Wales has the most amazing flag with that epic-looking dragon on it? It's so cool. Finally got to visit Wales last year. Was that this year? I guess that was in February of this year. I'm going to say cheese on toast. I really have no idea. Sometimes you can just make an educated guess.
What is the most common pub name in the UK? The Crown, the Red Lion, or the Ship?
It's not the Ship. I'm going to say the Crown. Pubs are everywhere. One of my favorite things about UK culture is the pub culture. It's so iconic and so quintessentially British, and I love it. I'm going to go Red Lion. No, the Crown. I'm going to say the Crown. Oh, it was Red Lion. I should have gone with my gut there on that one too.
Belfast-born author C.S. Lewis is best known for which series of novels? The Chronicles of Narnia, A Song of Ice and Fire, or The Dark Tower?
Clive Staples Lewis. So he's really heavily associated with Oxford, as is his friend J.R.R. Tolkien, who wrote Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and other things. It's Chronicles of Narnia. And Narnia, it's very heavily an allegory of the Christian faith. C.S. Lewis was a well-known Christian who wrote a lot of things associated with Christianity, and fantastic, some of his work. His, what's it called? The Screw Tape Letters. Fantastic. It's basically this narrative written by a demon from his perspective of how he's trying to afflict someone. It's really, really good. He wrote a fantastic set of writing on grief after he lost his wife, which I think is powerful. Really good stuff.
Which sport, newly invented in Scotland, was banned in 1457 for being a distraction? Golf, football, or hockey?
There's only one sport that's heavily associated with Scotland, and it was invented there, and it's golf. And if you want something that's hilarious, talking about Scottish people in golf, and you don't mind some language, go find on YouTube Robin Williams talking about the invention of golf. It's fantastic. It's hilarious.
Which of these is the best-selling British group ever with over 500 million claimed sales? Queen, the Beatles, or the Rolling Stones?
This is tough because they're all so popular, but I'm pretty sure it's got to be the Beatles. Never really got into the Beatles or the Rolling Stones for that matter. Queen, awesome.
In Harry Potter, students of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry catch the train from which London station?
It was just
King's
there.
Cross, Victoria, or Liverpool Street?
Whenever I'm in London, I stay by this station. It's King's Cross, platform 9 3/4. And if you go there and you want to go to platform 9 3/4, they have a thing on the wall and there's a cart going into the middle of it. And you can get your picture taken, but be prepared to stand in line for a long time to get your picture taken. And right next to it, there's actually a big Harry Potter store at the right next to platform 9 3/4.
Why is Scottish haggis illegal in the USA? Not enough fat or sugar in it? Contains a banned substance? Or because it might put hairs on your chest?
Because it's awful. No, it's because it contains a banned substance. I think it's some sort of internal organs from a sheep. Sheep's lung, that's it. It's been banned in the U.S. since 1971, which is rather ironic when you think about it, because there are a lot of foods that are banned in Europe that are not banned in the U.S., particularly some like preservatives and additives and things that we put in our food that they don't put it in Europe.
Which of these screen legends was not born in the UK? Charlie Chaplin, Laurence Olivier, or Marlon Brando?
Oh, this is tough, but the only one of those three that's not British is Marlon Brando. He's American.
Which one of these is not an actual law in the UK? It's illegal to be drunk in a pub, in charge of cattle, or in a library.
I feel like this is going to be a trick question. Like, it probably is illegal to be drunk in a pub. It just because that would be crazy, and that's probably the answer people would go with. In charge of cattle, I'm going to say it's illegal to be drunk in charge of cattle. I'm going to say in a library is not illegal, because that would be funny. Yes! You can be drunk in a pub. You can't be drunk in a library.
What is the name of the 73-mile wall built across the north of England to keep invading barbarians out? Hadrian's Wall, Henry's Wall, or the Caledonian Wall?
So Caledonia is actually the name that was given to Scotland by, I want to say, Pliny the Elder? I'm pretty sure he was Roman. It's Hadrian's Wall. Hadrian was the emperor of Rome in the 2nd century AD who finally decided that they're not going to be able to take Caledonia. So they just built a wall to try and keep them out.
What is this bizarre 5 roundabouts in a larger roundabout mess near Swindon, England called? The Crazy Roundabout, the Magic Roundabout, or the Lost Roundabout?
That's insane. It's got to be the Lost Roundabout. Oh, the Magic. I've heard about some of those. I like roundabouts. Here in the U.S., we're getting one not far from me. We've been starting to put them in different places, and people go nuts complaining about it. I feel like they just have never used them. If you went over to Europe and drove around, I think you'd like it. I appreciate them.
What is this bridge called? London Bridge, Tower Bridge, or Westminster Bridge?
We've talked about this already. So, actually, I have a painting that was done that we bought at Windsor Castle. We had commissioned near Windsor Castle that shows this scene. This is looking from real close to the Tower of London, looking away. And if you were able to see just to the right, you would see the HMS Belfast, which is a town class cruiser, really cool to visit. That's Tower Bridge. It's only about 100 years old, but it's not London Bridge. London Bridge is the next one over to the right, and it's a really boring, just regular looking bridge.
Hey, we've just hit over 2,400 subscribers, and I want to say
All right, that was fun. Something a little different. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know how you did. I missed at least 3, maybe 4 or 5 on that, which is worse than I hoped to do. But that was fun. We're going to get back into some regular history content starting tomorrow. So be watching for that and be watching for my announcement about when and where you can watch me battle Drew Durnall, Mr. Terry, Mr. Beat, and the Fat Electrician in some Risk. See you soon. Thanks for watching.